It's time for Who Watch, Time and Relative Blackness in Space.
Hi everyone, it's Connie and Robyn coming to you live from the Time Vortex. Today we're discussing episode 9 of Doctor Who season 12, The Ascension of the Cyberman. In this episode, the Doctor and the fam head to a far-off future, meet some cyber refugees, and none of that matters in the end because the Master is back!
The Master is back!
Looking good!
Let's wait to talk about it, because we may not talk about anything else, and this is going to be a real fast episode, because we're going to save some of this stuff for next week. But
yes.
Just know that we are here and we're excited, and that's what we're going to rush to get to today.
Can I just say, in general, I didn't really enjoy this episode.
Yeah.
Like, things were happening, and I was like, this is kind of boring and okay, and, like,
Absolutely.
waiting for something to actually happen.
Exactly.
And then the last, 2 seconds?
Literally 2
he
seconds.
pops out, and I was like, this was the best episode since the premiere episode, and nothing will ever top it, because he also has a beard now, and I'm here for it.
Can't.
And good Lord.
Let's pause on Master Chat, but yes, absolutely, all of the above.
Okay.
All of that. All of that. We just, we got to give the listeners something to get to, Okay, so yes, the overall this episode, I've said this before on this podcast, I generally don't care for Cybermen episodes, and then, even We Don't Ride for Danny here, but, the back-to-back of Bill to Danny, Danny to Bill made it worse, so I'm just like, and then there are black people in this episode, and I was like, are they gonna survive? And then one of them doesn't, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. When I saw the black people, I was like, here we go with this bullshit again.
Here we go. I tweeted it, and then Kashana, DM'd me, girl, which one of them dies?
She didn't DM you.
I know.
She came into a channel. And I was like, excuse?
But I was just like, no, it's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. No one traumatic died. But I was like, the teacher died, and I was like, come on, now. I think the Cybermen are just explicitly anti-black at this point.
I think so. I do think so.
I really think so. But anyway.
I will say... Okay, well, I'll start from the beginning. I will say when we get there.
Okay. So the Doctor and fam I'm still a little lost. I just know that they went to the future, and it's the end of the Cyber Wars. Do I know what the Cyber Wars are? Not really. I assume it has to do with whatever the last Cyberman did last episode, but
yeah.
I was just like, okay, we're here. We're just here now. And there's 7 humans left. The fam arrives with stuff to try to help, and it immediately gets blown to pieces. Those Cyber drones came in you thought they was gonna do anything? I was like, 13, you should have been prepared for this.
Can we also, though, just talk about how 2 things. One, those were full-on battle scenes, hello, budget.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we're out here.
They saved it for the beginning and the end.
The cyber drones are basically just handles. Why are we just floating cyber heads?
Right.
Remember when we did the one, they went to the planet, it was 11 and Clara, and he ends up playing that game of chess with the cyber dude or whatever.
Yes.
But those were drone-ish. They were little cyber bugs. And that seemed more of a design for a drone than if I'm a Cyberman and I'm making a drone, let me just make the head part.
Right.
Of whoever designed that.
Yeah, it was an odd choice
needs to be fired.
Dang. Yes, it was an odd choice to me, for sure. And then they just came in, blew everything up, the fam has to split up, which already was a bad. Well, I guess they don't have to split up. The doctor's like, y'all go with the humans, and they're like, okay, and then somehow Ryan's gets
Ryan's dyspraxia decides to show up. Like
I guess it's still not. It's not really explicit or like a thing. It's just he got separated, which could happen regardless. Like that just could have been a thing.
My note
like, black
is in all
don't
caps.
Have to be like athletic or something. Like I don't understand.
I don't either. My note in all caps is like, oh, now Ryan want to have dyspraxia. It's just like,
but even then, it's like
of the trauma of like, I just don't need. Yeah, I just don't need Ryan falling behind while Cybermen are chasing.
Right. Yeah, and it's like a double whammy there.
Yeah.
So part of the episode is that like future stuff, and we'll get to that. But we should quickly talk about the flashbacks that happened through this episode.
My god!
And I was, it's like I guess we're on the Irish countryside, and we meet Irish Clark Kent because this baby's just found in the middle of the road. And the whole story is really confusing, and I don't understand. Like maybe next week they'll pull it together, but who knows? Because Brendan is like picked up by this Irish family, or at least I assume they're Irish based on accent, but I couldn't really tell. They could have just been super northern. I don't know. And then they take the baby home, and he grows up, and he becomes a police officer. And then at one point he he's shot and falls off the cliffside and survives with no scratches. Gets a medal, because that makes sense. They're not like, let's investigate. They're just like, good job living.
So you don't watch S.H.I.E.L.D., do you? Did you?
Do
you?
No. Let's just say no.
So my immediate reaction was, oh, these are the Cybermen in the framework. So like in S.H.I.E.L.D., all of their like consciousness has been downloaded to this fucked up matrix. Oh, it's the matrix basically. We're all batteries, right? And they give you this like delusion so that you can keep going. And you think that you're living your life. And that's what I got, because I was like,
gotcha.
The police uniform thing, I was like, are they Nazis? What's going on? What police uniform is this? But I
couldn't tell what year it was or when they were at all.
Yeah, so like my thought is that like everyone, all of the internally, the Cybermen are going through this like delusion that helps them, like comforts them, and they don't actually realize that there's. Do you remember when we meet the first iteration of Clara, and she's a Dalek, but she doesn't realize it because she's living. Yeah,
that tracks. Because
I wish that they would have made it a bit more explicit by the end of the episode.
Yeah, because they, he survives this like crazy incident, and then there's no like mention of it really, except like he's in the paper, and his family's like, great, and then he grows old and he retires. And his dad, who hasn't aged at all, comes to get him, along with, like, I think the captain at the police station or whatever.
Yeah,
like, they come
who
to
also
get
found him. Yeah.
Right, they did. I forgot that part. And I was just now thinking, as I was, like, recapping it, I was like, they show the audience, the dad finding him in the middle of the road. So it's not like he comes home with the baby and we, the audience, don't see how he gets this baby. Because then I could be like, okay, he's been in on it from jump, and then that's how, that ties in together. But, like, we were shown how he saw the baby out of nowhere. So it's just like, well, when did he get initiated into this? Was he before that? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, and that was me thinking maybe they were implanting memories. But, like, you don't remember that kind of stuff when you're a baby. So, like, maybe just Cybermen don't fundamentally remember humanity. Or Assad doesn't, because I'm not sure if Assad is Brendan. I thought that's where we were going.
I thought that's where we were going.
Until he grew old, and then they like came back and like, retired him. So I think maybe Brendan doesn't remember, or is trying to be so far removed from humanity that he's like, this is your first memory of this dude finding you, and he's your dad. It's like, babies, I don't remember anything until I was like 6, 7. So that might be because I also have ADD and I just don't remember shit. No way. But,
you don't remember this morning, girl.
Biotomy be talking about her earliest memories, and I'm like, how?
Well, steel traps are different. They're different. But yeah, and that was the other thing that I didn't remember until I looked in the BGC Slack, and they were talking about how it was his name is Brendan, but his name as a Cyberman is Ashad, and I was like, another one, because I couldn't
Seriously
help myself.
though, I will say this: Ashad has to be Khaled's kid because chatty. Why are they so talkative? I was like, can you cut it with the ad-libs? The same way when I went to see your daddy in concert, I had to leave because all them ad-libs. Like,
Dang.
shut up and play the song.
Just play the song, man.
Just play the song. I don't need to hear all this.
One, you smart. He told the doctor, you stupid. I hate you and your mama.
Yeah.
Like the opposite of
he
DJ
said,
Khaled
congratulations, you played yourself.
Literally. And so... I don't know if they're the same person. I assume they must be, but then we haven't learned how he got from Brendan to Ashad, which, like, even the names are very, like, Brendan's super white, and, like, Ashad is super, like, I hate to say ethnic, but it comes from more diverse backgrounds than that other name, so I'm just like, where did that even come from? But that all happens, and I'm confused. And then
they never really... They didn't even give you a seed of a reason why that needed to be such a large part of the episode.
A large part. Like, a
like,
huge
I know
part.
that it's a two-parter. We know that it's a two-parter, but that doesn't mean that the first part doesn't have to have
its own
a through line and, like, a contained story.
And then most two-parters have had, like, separate through lines, so it's like
especially the B storyline, which is what that is.
Yeah, like that usually is just contained to that one episode and doesn't transfer over, except in like maybe theme or information that we learn. But there's no way we're like, if part 2 has some flashbacks to him living his life again or whatever it is, in addition to all the other things that has to happen in this episode, no.
Right.
Like, too many things have to happen for that story to continue. And then what was the point of them telling it this week? Because they never even get to the part where you find out about his family, because Ashad last week was like, oh, I killed my children, or whatever he said. And it's just like, okay, so you didn't even show that part. We'll see.
Too much going on. It reminds me of the time that I tried and failed miserably to watch Arrow. Because he built this city. And, like, I struggled through the first season. And then the second season, we were still flashing back to that damn island. And I was like, I gotta go. I don't care. Why are we still on this damn island? How long are we gonna flash back to this damn island? I thought we saw everything we needed to see.
No, you didn't see everything. And then they eventually, it's fine. I used to recap it. It was a time in my life.
That show.
I loved it for a long time, and then I was just like really apathetic about it. So in the future, Yaz and Graham end up on an escape ship with those last humans.
And I am mad at you. Because the whole time.
What did I do? I did nothing.
The whole time.
I did nothing.
I was like, Yaz, don't talk to that old man. Don't even look at him. Don't
I told y'all
interact at all. Don't engage, because Connie, Constance, done put this in my head. Constamort got me out here worried.
And then
she was complimenting Graham, and I was like, Constamort, why?
She legit complimented him and then hooked her arm around
Yes. And I was like, my notes literally say, damn you, Connie. I hate you.
Listen, I see the vision that they were laying down. Listen, Yaz has a thing for Grandpa.
Thanks. Okay? I hate it.
So they end up separated together, and although that's like the first moment they've had all season.
Yeah.
I don't think they've actually spoken, but beyond that. And then these like future like humans, because I didn't remember any of their names except Ethan. I really couldn't keep up. There were too many of them.
I mean, we meet them and I count immediately. I'm like, okay, there's like, with the flashbacks and the new people, I think there's like 10 people who we meet. And I was like, no, ain't nobody got time for that.
I didn't have time to learn any of their names. Except for Ethan, because he was the black kid who survived.
and knew what the fuck he was doing, too.
He was ready.
Right.
And so they're on this like spaceship, and I'm like, first of all, why are these future humans listening to Yaz and Graham, who I guess are coming off pretty confident about like knowing what they're doing and like we need to be optimistic and save the world, but they don't know how to run a spaceship
at all. Also, I did appreciate when one person whose name I don't remember and don't care to know was like, why y'all had those tools that immediately didn't work? So
like there's literally no reason for them to listen to them because Graham's out here bumbling his confidence like, yeah, for sure, we should totally. Mm-hmm.
And what is with Graham calling everyone sunshine or whatever? Like, you don't know me.
Little quirks, like quirks of language and like speaking
Cockney rhyming slang.
It went too far.
In the far future.
It went too far. It went too deep. It really went too deep.
I was annoyed immediately. You speaking Cockney rhyming slang in the middle of the cyber wars on a spaceship, and then are annoyed that you have to explain it, are just like shocked that she was like, "What the hell are you saying, sir?"
But still, he was getting flirted with, so like she clearly enjoyed it. Yeah, and I'm just like, why?
Because she hasn't seen another human besides those other 5 people in Lord knows how long.
She's like, he's around my age.
Yeah,
he could get the. Never mind.
Connie.
And I'm just like, why is Graham getting flirted with? He's supposed to be in mourning. He's been in mourning all season. Why is he getting flirted with before we even have Yaz and 13 anything?
It's my time now.
Oh, no.
Graham getting flirted with because they're going to fall in love, and then he going to be like, nah, it's cool. I'm going to stay here in the far future, and we going to be like, peace.
And help populate the Earth? Because, like, that's the only thing he could do.
Sure. Why not? But in the far future, he going to stay, and we going to move on.
We'll see.
Bye.
Perhaps. So we can talk. I mean, I was gonna say we could talk about Ryan stuff, like more specifically in Ryan rants. But are there any really, except for the like, kind of dyspraxia maybe thing? And then like
that was the only thing I had.
So we may be skipping Ryan rants, which is fine for us today, because they didn't give us anything to talk about. But Ryan gets left behind. I guess he wasn't running fast enough. Perhaps that was dyspraxia, or perhaps it's just plot. Like, that's also fine. They could have just not had it be a thing, because also I'm not sure if it's dyspraxia or not, because it's not a thing. It's just not a thing. But he ends up back with the doctor and this kid named Ethan, who had to watch his like teacher get shot, and the Cyberman was like, "You're gonna tell everybody what I did."
Good Lord. Just talking.
He talked a lot, man.
Just talking. I literally was like, what happened to You Will Be Upgraded? I miss those times.
They did do a You Will Be Deleted, and I was like, we out here deleting people today? Okay.
But I was like, here are my notes, word for word. Woo, I miss You Will Be Upgraded. There's a lot of fucking talk and saying nothing. It's dark and I can't see.
Who knew we'd miss You Will Be Upgraded? Like, come on.
I missed it. I did. I was like, why? Why?
So both groups are trying to get to the same place, but Yaz and Graham end up in some sort of cyber minefield or whatever. I was unclear. Whatever. I don't care.
They're in a war ship.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, again, I'm going to go back to S.H.I.E.L.D. or Marvel, the like hydroplane.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just a big ass ship.
And there's just like a bunch of like
the Death Star of Cybermen, if you will.
I do.
They're on like level 152 or something. I'm like, what kind of ship?
And they're like, let's steal it. And then there are Cybermen on the ship. And then what's his name? Mashad shows up like, wake them all up. And they do that. And so Yaz and Graham and all these other people are trapped on the ship. But they're still trying to get to the place where the doctor and Ryan and Ethan end up. Thank you. I was like, my brain stopped working real quick. Which is what they thought was a place called Kosh Sharmas, but actually it's a person who's like the last like dude. He's just like, there are no humans left, but I'm going to stay behind.
Okay, again, he is Red Skull. On the planet Vormir.
Just in case anybody shows up, I'm trapped
just there to shepherd you, to jump, literally, basically to jump off a cliff, because the thing, a crack in space and time basically opens up.
Yeah.
And people walk through.
But again, it's just the thing where it's like his story seemed cool, but it's like we took all this time to tell his story, and I'm just like, okay, like where is this going? And also he got really suspicious. Like I was really suspicious of him for a hot sec. Like I was like fine, and I was like, oh cool, it's just a dude. He's gonna help them out, whatever. And then I was like, is he sketchy? I don't know. He's like, yeah, walk forward towards the boundary. And I'm like, 13?
He said go a little closer. And I was like, don't do it.
Right, 13. Like, come on, girl. Like, what you doing? What you doing?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. But so they're all trying to reach this place because there's apparently some boundary that if you go through it, the Cybermen can't follow you. And that's where all these humans who were on the planet have escaped to. And then just because they want to tease us with nothing, they want to tease us with air. Yaz makes contact with the doctor and is like, they're coming, like they're on the ship, and she's terrified, and the doctor's like, oh no, get off the ship, and she's like, we can't, and they're just like yelling each other's names for a whole minute. And I was like, yeah, are we gonna get Delia's fantasy of like, tell Yaz that I already know?
Oh man.
And so I was just like, okay, like I really thought that there was like a couple. Exactly. Well, she's not, because Zutara's taken over her brain, but in the future we'll probably get it. But yeah, it felt like they were really gonna drop another hint. Just like all I needed was a hint of something. Yeah. Like Yaz is about to die, is in her mind, like several times in this episode, they're like, oh, we're not gonna make it, we might as well do this crazy maneuver because we might be about to die. And there was that one moment where someone was just like, does anybody have any last speeches? And Yaz started to talk, and they're like, really, you're really gonna do this?
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, is she gonna be like, well, I'm in love with an alien who's been traveling us around the world, the universe? Alas, it did not happen. So, teasing us with the air.
Earwax. Alas, earwax.
Alas,
right
earwax. You're right. So the doctor's like, well, can I see this boundary? So they go towards the boundary. Sharmus is being super creepy, and it's just like, get a little closer. And then it's freaking Gallifrey.
Yep.
Yes, we're going to get to the Gallifrey part.
Why does this
first.
work?
And then
you said it's freaking Gallifrey, and I was like, it was? I forgot for a second. It's cool.
So it's freaking Gallifrey, and it made me think of that, like, Gods episode where it's like the two planets are like touching and being like held apart by the angry gods or whatever. And I was just like, oh, that's a metaphor for Earth and Gallifrey, even though that doesn't actually make sense. And now I'm like, but does it now? Because we still haven't like explicitly mentioned that all episodes have been set on Earth, or why that's been a theme. So I still feel like there's got to be some reason for all of that.
Yeah.
That they would hopefully say, and not like DVD commentary in some articles like Star Wars and Marvel do. Because that seems to be a theme of like major properties these days. Even Game of Thrones, it's like, oh, well, I meant this. And it's just like, okay, but that could have been on the page.
Right.
Put it on the screen.
Should have showed it to us. They weren't on Earth, though.
I thought that they were.
I don't think they were.
I thought
Sharmus is on Earth?
I don't know. I
don't know either. That's what I'm saying. Like,
you're right.
They made it seem like they weren't on Earth.
According to Wikipedia, they do the planet where Sharmus is. But I don't trust that that's...
not Earth.
Right. They're just like, well, we're just going to circle back around to Earth.
Yeah.
But perhaps that was another planet, but they've been really vague about other planets these days.
They have been, yeah.
Which is
that's true.
So weird. Like, name the place. I guess they thought it was Sharmus. Like, that was the name of the planet, but then it wasn't. So now I'm like, so what was it?
Yeah. So I do have a theory, and I'm hoping that it's true, but also annoyed because there's not enough time, which is that Captain Jack or Ruth
also has to show up. Like, both of them have to show up next week.
Right. Like, so either one of them vortex manipulate their way and rescue Yaz and crew from the thing and take them to Sharmus.
Yep.
That's my theory of what will happen, but that also then sets up that we have to understand and then explain how they knew where they were, how they got there, how they did, you know what I mean?
I feel like that's a thing that if they don't explain how Jack just showed up in the last episode he was in, and I was just like, okay. It's like, I've been tracking you. Sure. Let's just go with it.
Got it.
So perhaps if they just show up, I'd be fine with that. I think it's just like figuring out which things that I'm fine with them explaining or not explaining, and then which things I need them to explain, and they just constantly do the opposite.
That's true. That is so true.
Constantly doing the opposite. So then it's Gallifrey, and it's just like, oh, no snap. Cares. And it's just like, okay, cool. And then the Master shows up.
This is when we start to care.
Literally the last 2 seconds of the episode, I was just like, oh, we out here now. Okay. And I knew he was going to come back, like, obviously. And it makes sense for him to come back. Talk about this man's face. Are we there yet? Well, here's my thing. So when I've been thinking about, like, okay, obviously the Master's going to come back. And last time we saw him, he was looking real rough because he was in the unknown void or whatever. So, like, I was just like, well, he has to escape that. That's going to be really traumatic for him. He's, got that angry, like, red eye thing going on. So when he comes back, it's going to be like, all right, he's, like, in full evil, I look ugly face. And then they decided... You thought they said he coming back with a fresh press and the
coconut
beard,
butter,
but the beard
lock.
with the oils just like moisturized in the the under the eyebrows like glare at the doctor, and he's just like he talks for a full minute, and then like the trailer
eyebrow game is so good.
He
talked for a minute.
Well, I
don't know. I don't know what happened.
You were just like looking at him, no idea if he was talking or not. No, when I was watching on BBC America, they it played into the trailer for next episode, and so that was just like him talking like the doctor, everything will be changed and forever, blah 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 blah. Yeah. And it was just like his voiceover the whole time, and I'm just like, here we are.
That man is detrimental to my health. And let's just talk about he's got like the cheekiest smile. And just he has this like he does this like impressed smirky face that I just want to devour in a way. He popped up. And it was literally one of those things where it's like, I knew, right? Like, he had to show up. It was either going to, like, as soon as it was like, it's Gallifrey, it was either him or Ruth showing up.
Obviously.
And you knew, like, I love Ruth. I feel so bad, because I feel like in any other season, I would be, like, on the Ruth train. But the way my thirst is set up.
Yeah. I'm sure she understands.
The solidarity is just not quite there.
I'm sure she understands.
He pops up, and I'm just like, but there's no time left, and I'm upset.
Yeah.
But his face is so good.
Truly.
And his eyebrows are a work of art.
Yeah, Sacha Dhawan did a Q&A, or like a, what do they call it, on BBC America, or
he did like an AMA like type of thing. Yeah. But also, so all of his answers were by video, and when he would end every answer, he'd do the smile.
No, but I didn't. See, that's the thing, is that I didn't watch it because I was at work, and I was like, I know that I cannot do this right now. I was like, I can't do this right now. And then, because I went to the Who Watch Slack channel to find that for after we finish recording, I just have to call out Dana in our Slack, who said the Kool-Aid man out of the boundary and just shattered my last hope that I understood anything that was going on.
And that's the other thing. Shout out to Dana for really like putting that out, because that was the moment in which we were supposed to get some sort of clarity into where, like, what just happened and where we were going. I don't know what he said. One thing that I caught, which I put in the quotes for the TARDIS, and that was the only like thing that I heard.
Because it was like, Which honestly, that's how the doctor feels.
Just strong,
possibly less thirsty, but also
face.
maybe not.
He was speaking words. I don't believe it. When? How? But did you see his eyebrows though, and his beard?
Yeah, the beard.
Because I saw
really,
that.
The beard is
the
really
twinkle in the twinkle in his eye.
Because that means he's gonna have that beard next week, without the like glow of Gallifrey behind him.
It doesn't matter because I won't be able to. I'll have to watch the show like 4 times.
Well, I think that won't be the only reason. It won't be because of plot and content.
I just won't be able to. I literally won't be able to cope.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Coping. What is it? Who knows?
Who knows? So yeah, we've been blessed and we're very thrilled about it. And next week will be next episode of Tarbis. Who cares what happens next week? Honestly, we might just be talking about the Master.
Ruth should show up.
Yeah. Those might
Jack
be the only
should show up.
Yeah.
So there might be like 5 minutes on Jack, 10 minutes on Ruth,
and
maybe
then the
15
next 40
on his
the
eyebrows.
Master's beard and eyebrow game. Yeah, I'm with it. So just so y'all are prepared, that's where we're at.
Who would have thought? I mean, literally, shout out to Doctor Who, because who would have thought that a podcast featuring you and me would just devolve into thirst?
It's like, have you met us?
Right? Like, I appreciate it. He's cute.
Right.
You know, he's cute.
We're usually very chill about these things.
Y'all, go back and listen to past Tarbises. Even with Ryan, we he's so adorable. He's so cute. Oh my God.
Right, like
love
really
him.
It's just Bayana's like the highest level of thirst here. And even that's like pretty tame compared to how other people do it. But like, here we are.
Here we are.
Just...
Sasha did that.
He truly did. It's like, wow.
Good on him.
Okay. So as we discussed, there are not really any Ryan rants or raves because there are 70 people in this episode, and Ryan just kind of, falls behind, which, whatever. So quote from the TARDIS. The doctor goes, "I've been so reckless with you." Which I pulled out because, girl, you always... Oh, yes, that must have been what it was. I think that was it subconsciously. But I'm like, girl, it's every time. Like, you do this every set of companions. It's just like, oh, wait, y'all are human. I forgot. But humans are your favorite, like, type of person. You don't hang out with anyone else. But then you forget that they're human.
Yeah. They're fragile.
Every single time. And you're just like, crap. I forgot. Y'all go home.
I used to hotwire warp drives for fun on the weekends as a teenager. Not that we had weekends or teenagers. Basically, I used to do this a lot and people got mad, and now it's going to save all of our lives. So who was right all along and is now the real winner? I didn't say it with the same,
it's fine.
Speed and enthusiasm that she did.
No one can. It's Jodie.
Yeah.
It's just like the way she says it, and also just like, not that we had weekends or teenagers. Like, dang, what's Gallifrey really like?
Right? How did Time Lords age? What's going on?
What is it? Maybe we'll finally learn the answers that I think people thought we had.
We don't have time. Constance, when?
Apparently, there's a 5-year plan. I was reading some article, and it was like Chibnall has a 5-year plan, and I'm like, does he?
Does he though?
We'll see.
Well, because unless it's a 2-hour finale, it ain't happening this year.
It's not happening this year. But also, it's just like, does the 5-year plan include the year hiatus? We'll see. Emma, didn't expect you to take it that well. Gonna have to bill you for therapy at this rate.
I love that because it was great. But also, Assad was talking a lot, and I just needed someone
to acknowledge that, like, we're sitting on a couch here. Like, we gotta sit down, and I'm gonna have a legal paper, legal notepad, and just like start writing down all this stuff that you have to say, because he's a chatty one.
He is chatty.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna keep all of you safe. We're gonna find the doctor, and we're gonna take the Cybermen down, aren't we, Graham? And I was like, I hate you, Constance. I only put this in the quotes from the trailer so I can let you know how much I dislike you.
But that wasn't even their, like, special moment.
No, but it was like the one time I could pull a real quote.
Listen, next week she's gonna be like, Graham, it was always you.
What is Graham gonna do that's gonna help take down the Cybermen except be looking for the bathroom? Like, really, what does Graham have to do with this plan?
He doesn't even
in
know.
The way.
He also doesn't know.
Right.
He's like, why are we here? Sure,
why?
Yeah. Yaz is the one coming with all the plans. He's just like, sure thing.
Sounds
Let's
good.
go looking around. And then he's like bumbling his way into a girlfriend. Just
like,
boy,
and 1,000 Cybermen.
You know?
Sleeping Cybermen.
If you don't sit down. That's a good entrance, right?
Hell yeah! Best entrance ever.
We out here.
Woo.
Man. He did that.
He did that. Also, I was thinking about this because when we meet I think I was like, it's cute. But like his whole demeanor, like his like master, there's something else, man. and it's gross, right? Because the master's a mass murderer who is dangerous and not at all a hero. He's a villain.
Yep.
He's an anti-hero. He's a villain. He's a villain.
Yeah. You were like, wait, you're right. Nope, can't do it.
He's a villain.
Yeah, for sure.
But the way that Sasha villains,
honestly, just give the man all of the roles. Like, just let him, outside of, like, the terrible shows that he's done before Doctor Who, because Dracula, Iron Fist, I need him to have better options now. Like,
though I did go back and look at clips of him in Iron Fist. I didn't watch the show, but I watched, like,
do that?
The clips.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
I mean, listen, the man can fight.
Whew.
That's what I learned.
And can
scrolling
dress.
His Instagram.
And fight while dressed. And
yeah, he wears a hood really well.
A whole mood.
Yeah. So that was the episode. We sped through that one because probably next week's will be long. Because it's like 75 things that they have to fit into that episode, and we'll have to do some of them justice. We'll try. And then obviously we'll have to talk about Sacha Dhawan as a big portion of our episode. We're just gonna have like a section, so it's like, sorry Ryan, we may have to cut, depending on how much Ryan gets, we may have to replace Ryan rants with Sasha. We'll come up with a quirky name for it next week.
Sasha stands. Sasha sips. Because I'm thirsty.
Okay, so Master moments. We are blackgirlscreate.org. Check all of our content out there. We are in the middle or towards the end of our other stuff, which with Black Wizard History Month. So, check all of our stuff out online. You can follow us on social media at We Black and Nerds on Twitter. Robyn is Robyn_Ravenclaw, Robyn with a Y. I am Constar24. And please, please, please use the hashtag Tarbus to talk about Doctor Who, to thirst with us, send us gifts of Sacha Dhawan. That would be really great. I'm sure that we'll both need it as the week progresses. It's going to be a long one, so you should do that. You can also join our Slack where we have conversations dedicated to Doctor Who, and more gifts and videos of Sacha Dhawan.
Yes, please. We'll be forever grateful. Rate and review us on iTunes and where podcasts are found. Also, you can become a Patronus. Head over to patreon.com/blackgirlscreate to support what we do, which is not just Tarbus, but all of our Black Wizard History Month, Wizard Team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. We got a lot going on, guys.
We got a lot. Patronuses who donate $25 per month get Tarbus bonus episodes in which we will recap episodes of Classic Who. So if you want our thoughts on 50s level white nonsense, come on, join us at that tier.
Oh, I guess it should be 60s. I just realized that.
60s. It is 60s. 60s, 70s, and
I mean, same thing, really. Old-timey white nonsense. So Tarbus is a part of Hard Knock Media. We've joined the Nerds of Color podcast network, including the podcasts Hard Knock Life, Southern Fried Asian, DC TV Classics, Ask Bi Girls, They See Geek Girls, We're Not All Ninjas, and That Moment. You can check out all of these podcasts at hardknockmedia.com. That's hardknock, NOC, media.com.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week for Doctor Who episode 10, The Timeless Children, part 2 of the 2-part finale, The Return of Sasha's Eyebrows and Beard.
Yes, absolutely. Also, Timeless Children. What? How do we get here?
Yeah.
Children, plural.
The Cybermen ascend to timeless children.
Yes.
I
So
guess.
perhaps that probably really means Ruth is coming back, because if the Doctor... Was the Doctor the timeless child? Maybe we just don't know yet. I don't know.
We don't know.
We'll find out. Hopefully
but I'm
next
thinking
week.
the Doctor, the Master, and Ruth's Doctor equals children. Plural.
Yeah, some Gallifrey nonsense.
Some Gallifreyan nonsense.
And we'll be there. And you will be there with us.
I will. I mean, we will.
Until then.
And Sasha will be.
That's all we really care about.
Sweet dreams of beards and eyebrows.
That is what we wish upon you. And bye.
Bye.
The black girls have the box.